Hello beautiful people, and welcome to my official but also unofficial Guts and Blackpowder Drip or Drown. Well, I say that, but nobody's actually drowning.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
Anyway, I'll go over what the rules are and what this event is. So, about a month ago, I asked my Discord server to submit their Guts and Blackpowder characters and also throw in some lore. Now, throwing in lore for your character was optional, but soon, everyone added lore to their characters. I wasn't actually expecting this, so I had to quickly tell everyone that there would be a word limit of 150. I ended up with 30 submissions in total, and 31 if you include my example submission. Lastly, the first place winner would receive a $10 Robux gift card, while second and third place would receive $5 Robux gift cards. So now, let's go over how I'm going to grade these submissions. I will be judging these submissions by first, how good your character looks, and then second, if you had any, your character's lore, with a grand total of 10 points per rating, and if you didn't submit lore, you can only earn up to 10 points max. Now I'm going to really quickly use my example submission to show off how this works. My character, Luca Phoenix, is a 55-year-old Danish surgeon who is very famous for owning and running his own medical corp, where he trains surgeons to be fit for combat and to heal other people to the best of their ability. He is quite laid back, but he still tries to take his training seriously, as they are very important for the future careers of the surgeons he is training. Although he is Danish, he can also speak English and can train anyone who speaks either language. He's very passionate about his career and his medical corp, and will forever serve under the Danish flag, even if they fall to the Empire of the Undead one day. Personally, I think my character looks like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. Now obviously it's possible this is biased since this is my submission, hence why I'm not going to actually count it. I think that the hair and beard match well with the outfit, and the glasses give off the vibe that Luca is a very well-versed and studious surgeon. As for the lore, gonna be honest, looking back at what I wrote, I definitely could have done better. I think I focused too much on his surgeon corp and could have thrown in some other things. So I'm gonna give this a solid 6 out of 10, but again, maybe I'm just being overcritical of myself. So with a 9 plus 6, the total comes out to a 15 out of 20 rating, which is a pretty good score. So now let's actually get on to the real submissions. So our first submission comes from Uwapthalamos. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anyway, his character doesn't have any lore, so I will have to judge him purely by his character. Just by glancing at this character, it looks quite good. Free Corpse is a great looking regiment. The mustache fits well since it's black and matches with the outfit, and the blood splatter complements the bloody eye bandage. I'm gonna give this a solid 9 out of 10. I think if the mustache was different, this could have potentially been a 10 out of 10. And since he had no lore, his points are locked to a 9 out of 20. Sorry, buddy. Next up is Daniel. Starting with the look of his character, it looks bland. Now, obviously, it's very likely he doesn't have any Robux to buy any regiments or accessories, but I still have to fairly grade these with no bias. He has stubble, a scar, and a cross necklace, which is, again, kind of bland, mixed with the default officer regiment, which doesn't look amazing. I'm gonna have to give this a 3 out of 10. I think if he went for a better looking regiment, this could have been bumped up by 1 to 2 points. Now I'm gonna read his lore. Luis is 35-year-old. He's known well as an officer in the French military because he's always punished and scolded his infantry, even at the smallest things like flinching, or even small thing like poured too many / little coffee, and that's why most infantry avoided him, but deep down he's a nice guy, and hate his job that needs yelling and sometimes miss his parents. That's why he's always saved their photos in his room. His ambition is becoming an old guard, and he's served the military for 6 years. But when the virus started and the nation worked together, he have leased and liked nation like Russian. He hated them because he thinks they're rude, and British because they keep mocking his army. but he likes the Prussians because they nice to him, and often offering him beers and his hometown Marseille, specifically in the north side. So I had to have multiple retakes attempting to read this. The grammar is really bad, and I'm gonna dock 1 point just for that. As for what the lore was, it was alright. Louise is basically just an officer who is known for being mean, but is secretly kind of nice. And when the Blight came, he got upset with the other nations he had to team up with. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10. I don't think it's anything special, it's just like reviewing your everyday officer in the 1800s. So that leaves Daniel with a frightening 8 out of 10. Yikes, I think we're gonna have to drown this guy. But we can do that later. I got tons of submissions to cover, and this is likely going to have to be a 2 or 3 part video, since there's just too many to cover in one video. Next up is Jackie. He says his character is based off his persona, but he didn't give us any lore. For how his character looks, I think it's pretty good. The glasses are a good accessory, though the battle scar is a questionable choice. I think the hair is good, but it doesn't blend that well with the Brunswick uniform. I'm gonna have to give this a 6 out of 10. I think if the hair was black, it could have been a 7 out of 10. And because he had no lore, he is left stuck at 6 out of 20 points. Poor guy. Our next submission comes from Space Gamer, and his character looks pretty decent, but somehow also bland at the same time. See, I love the Jaeger outfit. Definitely an underrated outfit in Genshin Blackpowder, but the only accessory he's wearing is a scarf and I think the stitched blemish. I'm gonna have to give this a 5 out of 10 for looks. It's really nothing special, to be honest. Now for his character's lore. Leon Fischer is a 27-year-old Austrian Jaeger who found his scarf from a dead Shambler. He was one of the men who were attempting to cross the Alps to escape to Italy. Note: to whoever may be reading this, my unit has perished to the pestilence. Before they were devoured, I was sent out to mark the location of the cannibals. I spotted them heading towards the village we have settled. Unfortunately, I was too late. The village was burnt, and my leg was grabbed by a Bavarian fellow. He was gray and full of rage. I grabbed my air rifle and put the man out of his misery. I hope to be able to find my way down and escape this horrible place. Honestly, the lore is pretty good. The scarf on his character makes a bit more sense now. I also think that it's implied that his character is going to die soon, which definitely adds to the narrative quite well. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10 for a total of 12 out of 20. Our next submission comes from Damien. Looking at his character, we can see he is a French Lancer who looks like he's gotten quite a lot of injuries. I definitely like the overall theme of this character. It's pretty solid, and the French Lancers are always nice to look at. He even had a battle scar to top off his injuries. Hopefully he doesn't lose his other eye now. I'm giving this a solid 7 out of 10. The theme is good, but I do think it looks a tad bit plain still. Now for the lore. Witold Petrosky, a Polish man living near the Vistula River, was quickly enlisted by the French into a cavalry regiment as a ranker, quickly gaining local reputation for skills against Russians and cannibals. Was promoted to the officer class during the events of the Berezina Crossing, where he lost his left eye. It's not until the events of Paris, or what he calls Paris Cannibal Attack, is where he would get his iconic head and body wrapping. After being pushed to the bridge behind him, he orders a noble charge, pushing the horde with him and the rankers with bayonets, until a lamplighter had appeared. He orders to shoot, but it's too late. The lantern misses the rankers and burns Witold as he cries in brutal agony. The nearby medic, Louise, rushes over, stomping the fire out. Louise quickly bandages him up, and Witold returns to the fight with haste. Okay, I actually really liked this lore. So during Berezina, Witold lost his left eye, explaining the battle scar accessory. He also got promoted to officer, and during what he calls the Paris Cannibal Attack, he ordered his men to charge, but he got burnt in the process. But he got saved by a medic who had to bandage up a lot of his body. Amazing. I really like this one since it explains a lot of his features. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10 for a total of 16 out of 20 points. Our next submission is from Mix Techo. Looking at his character, we can see that he wields both a heavy saber and a carbine. As for how he looks, He's part of the Prussian cavalry, which honestly looks amazing. On top of that, his mustache fits pretty well, and the glasses definitely add to the cool factor. The only thing about his outfit I don't like that much is the battle scar. I just don't think it works that well with this outfit and could have been changed for something else. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. It looks pretty good. Now, his lore, it's pretty short. Yakov du Lord, I think that's how you say that, a Prussian cavalry ranker who was forced to enlist on the Prussian army against the cannibals, and everything he wants is to see his family one last time, especially his mother. I think the lore is definitely lacking. He could have elaborated more on his parents, but it's whatever. I'll give this a 3 out of 10 for a total of 11 out of 20 points. This submission comes from Oleg. From these pictures, we can see that he wields a rifle and a heavy saber. He also has quite a good regiment on, and his accessories looks average. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you here. Despite the accessories looking average, I think it looks amazing on this specific regiment. It's really hard to explain, you just gotta feel it. I really like this one, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 for looks. Now for lore, this one is a bit complex. Pavel Ivanov, 1881 to 1917. Pavel was a 36-year-old soldier from Petrograd, St. Petersburg, Russia. He had a family of 3 and was a nationalist. He was well liked by his comrades, and he was a brave soldier. He fought so well that he got awarded the Cross of St. George. He fought during the Great War and participated in the battle at Ozwiec Fortress, located in today's Poland, known as the Attack of the Dead Men. When he was slowly dying of German gas, he saw his comrades dying of immense pain and didn't want to give up, and covered his mouth with cloth and continued attacking the Germans. Eventually, the Germans retreated and the Russian Empire won. At the end of the Great War, the Triple Entente won the 4-year-old war. Sadly, Pavel never got to know that the Great War ended 1 year after his death in 1917. He was always remembered by his comrades and family as a good soldier and a great father and husband. This one was pretty good. I really do like how he was known for being a family guy, you could say. He was a very loyal soldier to Russia and fought to the bitter end, truly a great soldier to his nation. However, there is one problem I have with this guy's story. It takes place during the Great War, which started in 1914, which is about 100 years after where the Napoleonic Wars take place. Yeah, I didn't explicitly state in my rules that you have to make it during the Napoleonic Wars, so that is kind of my fault, but I also thought it was implied. I think he's the only person to do this though, so I'm going to dock 2 points for being in the incorrect era. So because of that, his lore comes to a 6 out of 10 with a total of 13 out of 20 points. Sorry man, I liked it, but it was in the wrong era, alright? Next up we have Mr. Cena. Now this guy didn't actually submit any images of his character in-game, but he did submit quite a lot of art of his character. Now, I really don't want to be biased because these drawings are very well done, but I need to compare everyone fairly. So I went and attempted to remake his outfit. I know he was intending to make it so only one of his eyes are showing, but there's no way to do that, so I had to improvise. It also looks like he had dirt or blood on his face, so I put dirt. Looking at this, it doesn't look absolutely amazing. The basic Russian regiment is a bit boring, but the bandages definitely add to a theme. Maybe it'll be elaborated on how, like Witold was, but off pure looks, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. The bandages kind of carried. Now onto the lore. Adam, a 27-year-old Russian officer. Adam is a rugged but good-natured tough guy, ready to stand up for his soldiers. He was born into the family of a not-so-rich landowner and achieved the rank of officer through his own efforts. Adam is not married, but after the war he promised to marry a lady. He's not adverse to drinking. He was supposed to accompany a detachment of Gebhard Leberecht von Blücher, but fell behind along with several Russian and Bavarian soldiers, lingering in a town full of the undead. While defending near a local church, a dead man with a powder keg exploded next to Adam, temporarily bringing the officer out of standing and covering his body with burns and wounds. As luck would have it, the soldiers of the German rear guard reached the same church, where the exhausted forces of Adam's small detachment were located, and together with them, the events of Cobb began. So this was pretty decent. Adam was your average officer who got blown up and survived, which explains the bandages. I like how he made his character just some random guy, but also a very important part of the events of Cobb. As simple as his lore was, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I liked how simple yet easy it was to understand, and how your average officer came to such events. And Mr. Cena gets a total of 14 out of 20 points. Our second to last submission for this video comes from Jelito. He didn't write any lores, so we have to just judge his character by his looks. KGL is definitely one of the best regiments in the game, so that was a good choice. The glasses and the shrapnel on him fit quite well. However, his mustache and dandelion just do not work with me. I feel like the dandelion could have been changed, and the color of his mustache really does not look good with KGL. I think the hair is okay, but nothing amazing. I'm gonna have to give this a 6 out of 10 for a total of 6 out of 20. It's just alright. And finally, for the last submission for this video, we have Chaton. They submitted a Danish surgeon with a white beard who, not gonna lie, kinda looks like Santa. He also has glasses and old man wrinkles. Where have I seen that before? Whatever. I think it looks pretty good. I think he was going for a Santa outfit, and he did do quite well with it. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Now for the lore. Oh wait, I was right. It is Saint Nick, or S. Nick. What he lacks in compassion for the sick, respect for human dignity, and any sort of verifiable formal training in medicine, Sane more than makes up for with a bottomless supply of giant needles and a trembling enthusiasm for plunging them into exposed flesh. Okay, he was raised in Copenhagen, Denmark, during an era when the Hippocratic Oath had been downgraded to an optional Hippocratic suggestion. He considers healing a generally unintended side effect of satisfying his own morbid curiosity. I am at a loss for words. So, Sane Nick is a Danish surgeon who likes to experiment on people he's taking care of. As twisted and creepy as this is, I actually like it a lot. It's also kind of funny, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10 for a total of 14 out of 20. See, this is what happens to surgeons who don't undergo Luca's training. Alright, and that concludes the first episode of Drip or Drown. I'm gonna have to make 2 additional videos for this since you guys submitted quite a lot of characters. If you want to know when that video releases, make sure to subscribe and also join my Discord server. I think the characters we went over today were pretty decent, and I think Wittold was definitely my favorite in this video. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Make sure to go watch the other 2 parts when they release. See ya.